Nanda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
What is the shloka number?
कौन सा
40?
शायद प्रभु जी
ठीक है, नोट कर लेना. हमारा टीम रेडी है. बंगाली रीडर माता जी इज देयर.
Yes, Prabhuji.
ठीक है, यू आर रेडी. सुप्रीति माता जी, यू आर देयर.
Yes, Prabhuji.
चलो स्टार्ट. यस, बंगाली माता जी स्टार्ट.
हरे कृष्ण. সেই দ্বারে আচরণ দেব কীর্তন সঞ্চারে নাম প্রেম মালা গাঁথি পড়াইল সংসারে.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Thus he spread Kirtana even among the untouchables. He wove a wreath of the holy name and prema with which he garlanded the entire material world.
এই মত ভক্ত ভাব করি অঙ্গীকার আপনি আচরি ভক্তি করিল প্রচার.
Translation: in this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, he preached devotional service while practicing it himself. Purport: When Rupa Goswami met Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayaga, Allahabad, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya was more magnanimous than any other avatar of Krishna because he was distributing love of Krishna. His mission was to enhance love of Godhead. In the human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not invent a system of religion as people sometimes assume. Religious systems are meant to show the existence of God, who is then generally approached as a cosmic order supplier. But Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental mission is to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Anyone who accepts God as a supreme can take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna and become a lover of God. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the most magnanimous. This munificent broadcasting of devotional service is possible only for Krishna himself. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has taught the philosophy of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who has surrendered to the Supreme can make further progress by learning to love him. Therefore, the Krishna conscious movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya is especially meant for those who are cognizant of the presence of the Supreme God, the ultimate controller of everything. His mission is to teach people how to dovetail themselves into engagements of transcendental loving service. He is Krishna teaching his own service from the position of a devotee. The Lord's acceptance of the role of a devotee in the eternal form of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is another of the Lord's wonderful features. A conditioned soul cannot reach the absolute personality of Godhead by his imperfect endeavor, and therefore it is wonderful that Lord Sri Krishna, in the form of Lord Gauranga, has made it easy for everyone to approach him. Swarupa Damodara Goswami has described Lord Chaitanya as Krishna himself with the attitude of Radharani, or a combination of Radha and Krishna. The intention of Lord Chaitanya is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. He does not care to think of himself as Krishna because he wants the position of Radharani. We should remember this. A class of so-called devotees called the Nagaris Nagaris or Gaura Nagaris pretend that they have the sentiment of gopis toward Lord Chaitanya, but they do not realize that he placed himself not as the enjoyer, Krishna, but as the enjoyed, the devotee of Krishna. The concoctions of unauthorized person pretending to be bona fide have not been accepted by Lord Chaitanya. Presentations such as those of the Gauranga Nagaris are only disturbances to the sincere execution of the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is undoubtedly Krishna himself, and he is always non-different from Srimati Radharani. But the emotion technically called Vipralambha Bhava, which the Lord adopted for confidential reasons, should not be disturbed in the name of service. A mundane should not unnecessarily intrude into affairs of transcendence and thereby displease the Lord. One must always be on guard against this sort of devotional anomaly. A devotee is not meant to create disturbances to Krishna. As Srila Rupa Goswami has explained, devotional service is anukulyena or favorable to Krishna. Acting unfavorably towards Krishna is not devotion. Kamsa was the enemy of Krishna. He always thought of Krishna, but he thought of him as an enemy. One should always avoid such unfavorable so-called service. Lord Chaitanya has accepted the role of Radharani, and we should support that position as Swarupa Damodara did in the Gambhira, the room where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Puri. He always reminded Lord Chaitanya of Radha's feeling of separation as they are described in Srimad Bhagavatam, and Lord Chaitanya appreciated his assistance. But the Gaura Nagaris, who placed Lord Chaitanya in the position of enjoyer and themselves, or themselves as his enjoyed, are not approved by Lord Chaitanya or by Lord Chaitanya's followers. Instead of being blessed, the foolish imitators are left completely apart. Their concoctions are against the principles of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The doctrine of transcendental enjoyment by Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendental feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Radharani.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषाय शून्यवादी पाशातदेशतारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey Mata Bhakta Baba Kari Angikara, Apani Achari Bhakti Kari La Prachara. So anyway, so instead of taking class, we'll go through this. What are the main point here? Main point in this purport was that Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Radharani doing service to Krishna. Now, if you worship him as the Supreme Lord and as the enjoyer, that is disturbing his mood. You see, Prabhupada spent so much time explaining because there's a big deviation which is going on. They call themselves Gauranga Nagari. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur came around 200 years ago, probably. So at that time, he has spent time and listing all the deviations. Shaki Beti, Aula, Baula. Even now, those sampradayas are there. They call themselves Aula. They don't think they are wrong. See, nobody thinks he's wrong. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said this is deviation. Gauranga Nagari was one of them, where they say, I will act like a gopi and Lord Chaitanya is the enjoyer. This is something like Sakhi Beti, where in Vrindavan, I told you once a joke. I was standing, and suddenly somebody, in a lady dress, just, hit me and went away. So I felt a little odd, have I hit some Mataji, something like that. Later I just looked at him, it was not a lady, it was a man, dressed like a woman, and they were dancing in kirtan like anything, like a Sakhi. देखा है? बहुत देखा है वैसे ही हाँ मायापुर ऐसा बहुत दूसरा एक गौरंग अनागरी ये भी लोग सोता है चैतन्य महाप्रभु कृष्ण है हम उनकी गोपी हैं and they dance but then you're disturbing his mood. Prabhupada saying anukulya now we have to do service to the Krishna anukulya favorably not unfavorably like this. Okay, so let us continue. But you see he spent so much time explaining why, because this is a problem. This is very popular.
হরে কৃষ্ণ দাস্য সখ্য বাৎসল্য আর যে সিঙ্গার চারি প্রেম চতুর্বিধ ভক্তই আধার
Translation: Four kinds of devotees are the receptacles of the four kinds of mellows in love of God, namely servitude, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love.
You see here, the fifth one is not mentioned, Shanta. Many times Shanta is not mentioned because there is no active service. Okay, so it is not mentioned here. Top four are mentioned.
নিজ নিজ ভাব সবে শ্রেষ্ঠ করি মানে নিজ ভাবে কৃষ্ণ করে কৃষ্ণ সুখ আস্বাদনে
Each kind of devotee feels that his sentiment is the most excellent, and thus in that mood, he tastes great happiness with Lord Sri Krishna.
So it's like everybody has a constitutional position. We don't know what it is, ours. But perhaps it's not very, mostly Shanta, probably some leaf, some flower. Because great devotees never fall down. Correct. We cannot even imagine Hanuman will ever fall down. It's not possible. Great devotees don't cheat Krishna, but we are there. We break the trust. Krishna gives so much love, like it happens in the middle world. They break the heart, And then what is that? I gave so much love, so much affection. I put so much care, and the person just walked away. It happens in the mental world, and sometimes people commit suicide. Recently, some girl committed suicide. Just jump, tuck, jump. And so this all goes on in the metal world. Okay? But Krishna doesn't do that. He never breaks the heart. We do that. We break his heart and we run away. No, I have nothing to do with you. It's okay. It's okay. Krishna misses us and he's still taking care of us. He still maintains us. That is his feeling. Okay? So now which constitutional position we have with Krishna, we feel totally happy and satisfied with that. Friend is happy in friendship. And I think that is the best relation. The gopi feels this is the best relation. Parents feel this is the best relation. So what are the four relations here? And servant feels this is the best. I just want to be servant. So there is no problem. Okay.
তটস্থ হইয়া মানে বিচার যদি করি, সব রস হইতে শৃঙ্গারে অধিক মাধুরী।
Translation. But if we compare the sentiments in an impartial mood, we find that the conjugal sentiment is superior to all others in sweetness. Purport. No one is higher or lower than anyone else in transcendental relationships with the Lord, for in the absolute realm, everything is equal. But although these relationships are absolute, there are also transcendental differences between them. Thus, the transcendental relationship of conjugal love is considered the highest perfection.
You can appreciate that. In this world, more important than, say, a servant will be always friends. More important than friends are parents. But more important than parents are the wife. That's why sometimes parent can't understand why my son is more attracted to the wife than me. Mother can't. That's why that is the cause of Sas-Bahu serials. Because the Madhurya Rasa is more stronger than Vatsarya Rasa. Correct. And but the mother-in-law doesn't like. Now somebody is loving my son more than this, me. How it is? वो तो बेटे को खा गई, is not no longer interested in me. She should admit and be realistic. No, just know Madhurya Rasa is more stronger than Vatsarya Rasa. This is science. ठीक है?
যতোত্তর মসৌদ সাদ বিশেষ লাস্যমস্যমিতি, রতির বাসনায়া সাধ্বী ভাসতে কাপি কস্যাচিৎ।
Shri Radha Govinda ki.
Translation. Increasing love is experienced in various states, one above another, but that love, which has the highest taste in the gradual succession of desire, manifests itself in the form of conjugal love. This is a verse from Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5.38.
অতএব মধুর রস কহি তার নাম, অতএব মধুর রস কহি তার নাম, স্বকীয়া পরকীয়া ভাবে দ্বিবিধ সংস্থান।
Therefore, I call it Madhura Ras. It has two further divisions, namely wedded and unwedded love.
পরকীয়া ভাবে অতি রসের উল্লাস, ব্রজ বিনা ইহার অন্যত্র নাহি বাস।
There is a great increase of mellow in the unwedded conjugal mood. Such love is found nowhere but in Vraja.
Okay. Now, people generally think it is very bad, a relation outside marriage. Definitely in the metal world. Metal world is the reflection of the spiritual world. What is the lowest in the metal world is highest in the spiritual world. Okay. So you have to understand it properly. So this is now understanding first Radha Krishna Leela. Yeah.
ব্রজবধূগণের এই ভাব নিরবধি, তার মধ্যে শ্রী রাধায় ভাবের অবধি।
This mood is unbounded in the damsels of Raja, but among them it finds its perfection in Sri Radha.
প্রৌঢ় নির্মল ভাব প্রেম সর্বোত্তম, কৃষ্ণের মাধুর্য রস আস্বাদ কারণ।
Her pure, mature love surpasses that all of others. Her love is the cause of Lord Krishna's tasting the sweetness of the conjugal relationship.
অতএব সেই ভাব অঙ্গীকার করি, সাধিলেন নিজ বাঞ্ছা গৌরাঙ্গ শ্রীহরি।
Therefore, Lord Gauranga, who is Sri Hari himself, accepted the sentiments of Radha and thus fulfilled his own desires. Purport. Of the four kinds of reciprocation of loving service, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, Madhurya is considered the fullest, but the conjugal relationship is further divided into two varieties, namely Swakiya and Parakiya. Swakiya is the relationship with Krishna as a formally married husband, and Parakiya is a relationship with Krishna as a paramour. Expert analysts have decided that the transcendental ecstasy of Parakiya Melo is better because it is more enthusiastic. This phase of conjugal love is found in those who have surrendered to the Lord in intense love, knowing that such illicit love with a paramour is not morally approved in society. The risk involved in such love of Godhead makes this emotion superior to the relationship in which such risk is not involved. The validity of such risk, however, is possible only in the transcendental realm. Swakiya and Parakiya, conjugal love of Godhead, have no existence in the material world, and Parakiya is not exhibited anywhere in Vaikuntha, but only in the portion of the Goloka Vrindavana known as Vraja. Some devotees think that Krishna is eternally the enjoyer in Goloka Vrindavana, but only sometimes comes to the platform of Raja to enjoy Parakiya Rasa. The six Goswamis of Vrindavana, however, have explained that Krishna's pastime in Raja are eternal, like his other activities in Goloka Vrindavana. Vraja is a confidential part of Goloka Vrindavana. Krishna exhibited his Vraja pastimes on the surface of this world, and similar pastimes are eternally exhibited in Vraja in Goloka Vrindavana, where Parakiya Rasa is ever existent. In the third chapter of this epic, Srila Krishnadasa Gaviraja Goswami has explicitly accepted the fact that Krishna appears in this material world at the end of the Dwapara age of the 28th Chatur Yuga of Vaivasvata Manu and brings with him his Vrajadhama, which is the eternal abode of his highest pastimes. As the Lord appears by his own eternal potency, so he also brings all his paraphernalia by the same eternal potency without extraneous help. It is further stated that here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Parakiya sentiment exists only in that transcendental realm and nowhere else. This highest form of ecstasy can exist only in the most confidential part of the transcendental world, but by the causeless mercy of the Lord, we can have a peep into that invisible Vraja. The transcendental mellow relished by the gopis in Raja is super excellently featured in Srimati Radharani. Mature assimilation of the transcendental humor of conjugal love is represented by Srimati Radharani, whose feelings are incomprehensible even to the Lord himself. The intensity of her loving service is the highest form of ecstasy. No one can surpass Srimati Radharani in relishing the qualities of the Lord through this supreme transcendental mellow. Therefore, the Lord himself agreed to assume the position of Radharani in the form of Lord Sri Gauranga. He then realized the highest position of Parakiya Rasa as exhibited in the transcendental abode of Raja.
So we are able to understand, see Prabhupada is explaining so detailed way, Parakiya, Swakiya, because it's not, see, he knows it's not going to be easy for people who are reading. What is this? Prabhupada is saying there is more excitement in that. See, Krishna, Lakshmi, when he gives butter to Narayana, how will it do? Lakshmi will go, bring butter. Narayana will smile and take. People will be very happy. They will do so chambara. Hai. That's why many Shiva Vaishnava temple that will happen. But Krishna doesn't take butter like that. He takes his friends and he steals. So what's the point? He can take directly. Enough is there in Mother Yashoda's house anyway for him. There is no shortage of butter. She used to tell him, why you are stealing? Is there any shortage in our house? No shortage. They're very, very rich. Just to create fun. They ask to pakade gaye, they will be hide here, she will run with a stick, they'll jump from there. There's so much fun created by Krishna in that thing. And in fact, all the gopis of Vrindavan are actually very happy that Krishna is stealing. But externally, they will do all the drama. They will be sleeping. Oh, she's sleeping, snoring. We can run inside, steal. Then they will put it on the top. Then, famous Masar Kutike Krishna is climbing, correct? To this day, this pastime is more popular in our Mangalore than Janmashtami. Everybody comes out for Masar Kutike. Janmashtami, they in the house, they do little Tulusi Archana and that's it, correct? And they make some special laddus. But Masar Kutike, a whole city comes out. So just one pastime. Actually, it creates fun. So similarly, it is going to married wife and meeting her. It's okay. Actually, gopis are all Krishna's concerts. They're Lakshmis only. They're Adi Lakshmis rather. So what happens here? That there is so much ecstasy. Every day, the gopis are planning how Radha and Krishna are going to meet together. Every day, the plan is made. And then sometime Krishna will go as a doctor, Vaidya. Sometime Krishna will go dressed like a gopi. Sometime Krishna will be taken inside a box. Every day a new plan is made. They don't repeat any plan. And every day there is excitement. And every day Radha Krishna, all the Gopas and Gopis are how to bring Radha Krishna together today. And that's their happiness. Okay, so this is, there is a lot of excitement in that. And then Krishna himself has an expansion in the material world. In the spiritual world, it's not needed. Who is known as Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is not your Abhimanyu of the Pandavas. And he's Krishna's Vishnu only, Krishna only. And he will be all day, where my wife has gone. What is this shameless wife? Whole day roaming around. Every day she will disappear. So full, tension account, Jatila, Kutila, all these are, elders. They are not there in the spiritual world, Jatila, Kutila, Abhimanyu, but this feeling is there. Spiritual world, Yogamaya creates this kind of a tension. Correct? Metal world people will say she's mad. She doesn't have any husband and she's thinking. So she has a so-called husband with expansion of Krishna. The spiritual world, there is nobody. But that feeling is there. I'm married and I'm going to run with Krishna. And that creates fears, tension, excitement. Just like Krishna steals butter, nobody says it is wrong. Correct? Makan chor, nobody says it is wrong. Similarly, Ranachor, Krishna ran away from the battlefield. There are temples. Correct? People worship Krishna in that mood. Ranachor, Makanchor. So similarly, in the same mood, Radha Krishna Leela, even though many people ask this question, why don't Rukmini Krishna worship? There, but very less. Mostly Radha Krishna. Those who know this, they will worship Radha Krishna because Radha Rani is actually the Adi Rukmini. She is the origin. Okay, Hare Krishna. Chalo, let us continue.
সুরেশানং দুর্গং গতিরতিশায়েন নোপনিষদাং মুনীনাং সর্বসং প্রণতকটিলানাং মধুরিমা বিনির্যাসহ প্রেম প্রেম প্রেমনো নিখিল পশু পশু পুলাম্বুজ দৃশাং সচৈতন্যম কিম মে পুনরূপী দৃশোর যাস্যতি.
Lord Chaitanya is the shelter of the demigods, the goal of the Upanishads, the be-all and end-all of the great sages, the beautiful shelter of his devotees, and the essence of the love of the lotus-eyed gopis. Will he again be the object of my vision?
We are not so fortunate, Hannah. So he's praying. Just imagine if he can take darshan of Lord Chaitanya. And it is said anybody even sees Lord Chaitanya gets love of Krishna. So, but anyway, so he's praying. This is a prayer. Yes.
অপারং কশ্যপি প্রণয়ী জন বৃন্দস্য কুতুকে রসস্তমম হৃতা মধুর পুমুপ ভোক্তুকুম কমপি.
Rucham Swam. Okay, sorry.
রুচং রুচং স্বমাব্রে দুতিমিহ তদীয়াং প্রকটয়ন সদেবশ্চৈতন্যাকৃত কৃতি রীতিতারং নম কৃপয়তু.
Lord Sri Krishna desired to taste the limitless nectarian mellows of the love of one of his multitude of loving damsels, Sri Radha, and so he has assumed the form of the Lord Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her effulgent yellow color. May that Lord Chaitanya confer upon his grace. Purport. Texts 51 and 52 are respectively Prathama Shri Chaitanyashtaka 2 and Dvitiya Shri Chaitanyashtaka 3 from the Stavamala of Srila Rupa Goswami.
These are Rupa Goswami's prayer. He saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was there even after the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's offering his prayers. See what prayers are going on, intense, and how we are fortunate to able to even hear them. Yeah.
ভাব গ্রহণের হেতু কইল ধর্ম স্থাপন, তার মুখ্য হেতু কহি শুনো সর্বজন।
To accept ecstatic love is the main reason he appeared and re-established the religious system for this age. I shall now explain that reason. Everyone, please listen.
So please listen. Let us listen.
মূল হেতু আগে শ্লোকের কইল আভাস, এবে কহি সেই শ্লোকেরও অর্থ প্রকাশ।
Having first given hints about the verse describing the principal reason why the Lord appeared, now I shall manifest its full meaning.
রাধা কৃষ্ণ প্রণয়ে বিকৃত আহ্লাদিনী শক্তির আসমান, দেকাত্মানা ভুবি পুরা দেহে ভেদাঙ্গ গতৌ তো চৈতন্যখ্যাং প্রকট মধুনা তদ্দয়াঞ্চি কামাম তুম রাধা ভাবদ্যুতি সুবলিতং নৈম কৃষ্ণ স্বরূপম।
The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. Purport. This text is from the diary of Srila Swarupa Damodara Goswami. It appears as the fifth of the first 14 verses of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
What all combinations of prayers are going on. This is a very famous prayer. In fact, this is a meditation of Sri Chaitanya, even in deity worship. Radha Krishna Pranaya Virkati Hladini Shakti Asma. Hladini. Radharani is what? Hladini Shakti of the Lord. Okay? But they were one, but now they are separated. They were one actually, but now they are separated in two. Radha Krishna is one, but now they are separated. Radha Krishna is actually one. They separate as Krishna and Radha. Now they again combine as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
রাধা কৃষ্ণ এক আত্মা দুই দেহে ধরি, অন্যন্যে বিলাসে রস আস্বাদনে করি।
Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus, they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Purport. The two transcendentalists, Radha and Krishna, are a puzzle to materialists. The above description of Radha and Krishna from the diary of Srila Swarupa Damodara Goswami is a condensed explanation, but one needs great spiritual insight to understand the mystery of these two personalities. One is enjoying in two. Sri Krishna is a potent factor and Srimati Radharani is the internal potency. According to the Vedanta philosophy, there is no difference between the potent and the potency. They are identical. We cannot differentiate between one and other. Any more than we can separate fire from heat. Everything in the absolute is inconceivable in relative existence. Therefore, in relative cognizance, it is very difficult to assimilate this truth of oneness between the potent and the potency. The philosophy of inconceivable oneness and difference propounded by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only source of understanding for such intricacies of transcendence. In fact, Radharani is the internal potency of Sri Krishna and she eternally intensifies the pleasure of Sri Krishna. Impersonalists cannot understand this without the help of a Mahabhagavata devotee. The very name Radha suggests that Srimati Radharani is eternally the topmost mistress of the comforts of Sri Krishna. As such, she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Sri Krishna. Devotees in Vrindavana therefore seek the mercy of Srimati Radharani in order to be recognized as loving servitors of Sri Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally approaches the fallen conditioned souls of the Iron Age to deliver the highest principle of transcendental relationships with the Lord. The activities of Lord Chaitanya are primarily in the role of a pleasure-giving portion of his internal potency. The absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the omnipotent form of transcendental existence, knowledge, bliss in full. His internal potency is exhibited first as Sat or existence, or in other words, as a portion that expands the existence function of the Lord. When the same potency displays full knowledge, it is called Chit or Samvit, which expands the transcendental forms of the Lord. Finally, when the same potency plays as a pleasure-giving medium, it is known as Hladini or the transcendental blissful potency. Thus, the Lord manifests his internal potency in three transcendental divisions.
To understand this little, you can understand. Sat, Chit, Ananda. This you know in this material world. Sat means eternity. Chit means knowledge. Ananda means happiness. Okay? Sachidananda Vigraha. We say, no? Sachidananda. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. It's a famous shloka. So the soul has this nature. Soul is eternal. Chit, full of knowledge. And Ananda, full of happiness. But coming contact with the material world, we become asat, we get a temporary body. Achit, we become full of ignorance. And Nirananda, always we are sad. And which is this is very suffocating for us. Just like somebody dies, we don't like it because we want eternity. Sat. Somebody says, doctor says, you will die now. Why? We don't like, because soul is eternal. Chit, we can see that we don't like any ignorance. Small child also, if something is there, will like to open and see. We don't want to be ignorant because we have soul is full of knowledge. And Ananda, nobody likes to be bored. We want to be happy. I'm getting bored. It is suffocating. The nature is Sachidananda. So we can easily understand, make it and understand the nature of the soul to anybody. Sachidananda, which is actually understandable. Spiritual existence is Sachidananda. And in spiritual world, Lord has these three potencies which are manifested Sat as Sambit. You see the three. Sambit, Sandhini and Hladini. Okay? Now Prabhupada is explaining this here. Sambit, Sandhini and Hladini. Hladini is the pleasure potency. Okay? Sat becomes Sambit, existential potency. Existential potency. Sandhini, knowledge. Now, Lord automatically had these three potencies: his existence and the spiritual world and all knowledge. Therefore, they say, no, Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriya. So Lord naturally has the three things. Swabhaviki, Jnana Bala Kriya. He's all the knowledge, all the potencies, all the activities. Bala Kriya, everything is naturally within Krishna. Whenever so many demons came to attack Krishna, Krishna knew how to handle them. Not that, hey, what do I do now? No, he knows. Swabhaviki, naturally he has. So, Sachid Ananda is serving the Lord, and the personification of Ananda potency is Radharani, Hladini. Prabhupada explained in detail, Hladini potency is Radharani. Okay.
সেই দুই এক এবে চৈতন্য গোসাইয়ে রস আস্বাদিতে দোহে হইলা এক ঠাই।
Now, to enjoy rasa, they have appeared in one body as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
ইথি লাগি আগে করি তার বিবরণ, যাহা হইতে হয় গৌরের মহিমা কথন।
Therefore, I shall first delineate the position of Radha and Krishna. From that description, the glory of Lord Chaitanya will be known.
রাধিকা হয়েন কৃষ্ণের প্রণয় বিকার, স্বরূপ শক্তি আল্লাদিনী নাম যাহার।
Srimati Radhika is a transformation of Krishna's love. She is his internal energy called Ahladini.
আল্লাদিনী করায় কৃষ্ণ আনন্দ সাধন, আল্লাদিনীর দ্বারা করে ভক্তের পোষণ।
That Ahladini energy gives Krishna pleasure and nourishes his devotees. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami has elaborately discussed the Ahladini potency in his Preeti Sandarbha. He says that the Vedas clearly state only devotional service can lead one to the personality of Godhead. Only devotional service can help a devotee meet the Supreme Lord face to face. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is attracted by devotional service, and as such, the ultimate supremacy of Vedic knowledge rests in knowing the signs of devotional service. What is the particular attraction that makes the Supreme Lord enthusiastic to accept devotional service, and what is the nature of such service? The Vedic scriptures inform us that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is self-sufficient, and that Maya, nescience, can never influence him at all. Therefore, the potency that overcomes the Supreme must be purely spiritual. Such a potency cannot be anything of the material manifestation. The bliss enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be of material composition like the impersonalist conception of the bliss of Brahman. Devotional service is reciprocation between two, and therefore it cannot be located simply within oneself. Therefore, the bliss of self-realization, Brahmananda, cannot be equated with devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has three kinds of internal potency, namely the Ahladini Shakti or pleasure potency, the Sandhini Shakti or essential potency, and Sambit Shakti or cognitive potency. In the Vishnu Purana 1.12.69, the Lord is addressed as follows: O Lord, you're the supporter of everything. The three attributes, Ahladini, Sandhini, and Sambit, exist in you as one spiritual energy. But the material modes which cause happiness, misery, and mixtures of the two do not exist in you, for you have no material qualities. Ahladini is the personal manifestation of the blissfulness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which he enjoys pleasure. Because the pleasure potency is perpetually present in the Supreme Lord, the theory of the impersonalist that the Lord appears in the material mode of goodness cannot be accepted. The impersonalist conclusion is against the Vedic version that the Lord possesses a transcendental pleasure potency. When the pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is exhibited by his grace in the person of a devotee, that manifestation is called love of God. Love of God is an epithet for the pleasure potency of the Lord. Therefore, devotional service reciprocated between the Lord and his devotee is an exhibition of the transcendental pleasure potency of the Lord. The potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that always enriches him with transcendental bliss is not material, but the Shankarites have accepted it as such because they are ignorant of the identity of the Supreme Lord and his pleasure potency. Those ignorant persons cannot understand the distinction between impersonal spiritual bliss and variegatedness of the spiritual pleasure potency. The Ahladini potency gives the Lord all transcendental pleasure, and the Lord bestows such a potency upon his pure devotee.
Very, very interesting. I hope you all understood. Little I have to correct. Sat means Sandhini. Chit means Sambit. And Ananda is Radhini. I just reverse the first two. Okay. Now, very interesting thing, very proper, make it so easy to understand. He says we read again from the Shastra, the Lord get overcome by the devotion of the devotees. Now, this devotion of the devotees is a force which overcomes the Lord also. Now, that cannot be Maya because God cannot be touched by Maya. So it has to be something spiritual. That is Radha. How nice it is explained, correct? It is said again and again, even basic understanding, Krishna becomes a conqueror, Bhaktya Mahama Vijanati. Krishna gets conquered by bhakti. That actually bhakti, that is Radharani. The devotion. We want to chant. We need how long you can chant without any taste? How long you can do kirtan without any taste? It will dry. Means we think when it is going to stop. But there is some pleasure, like you are hearing Chaitanya Charitamrita now. There is some pleasure. That is the mercy of Radharani. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is said Vishwambhara. In the meditation of Gayatri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is said Vishwambhara. Vidmahe Vishwambharaya. Vishwambhara. Vishwambhara in what sense? Holding the word, that's not the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is Sankarsana does. His mood is sustaining the lives of devotees. If this goes away, we will leave Krishna consciousness and go away. We have seen, है ना? Correct? आपने देखो कभी मंदिर आ रहा है, जप कर रहा है, कीर्तन कर रहा है, कल चला गया, कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं रहा, and पूरा मायावादी बन गया, पूरा कर्मी बन गया. What happened? He lost that mercy of Radharani. True, Radharani as a mother is very, 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 very merciful. But if you give pain by doing the aparada or doing some sense gratification, jao, dekho material energy. So we should not upset her. Therefore, aparadha. There the name Radha comes. Aparadha. Radha is there. Don't upset Radharani. Then you lose devotion service. See, aparadha mein Radha ka naam hai. Aparadha. So don't do something which is again the principle of devotion. She is the devotion service personification. Just like Ganga, we know Ganga Putra. So there is a personification there, correct? All the energies are personified actually. So there is a personification of the Maya is Durga. The personification of Yoga Maya is Radharani. Okay, understand? See, it's not easy to understand Radha Krishna Tattva. Okay? So we are trying to peep into that, even though by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada already had some understanding, but by hearing, your love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will manifest. That's the blessing of Chaitanya Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami. Anybody hears Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya will manifest within the core of his heart. Okay? Thank you. Let us have darshan now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
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 Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama.
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare.